Remember the good old days when Amazon gave 20% off every video game at pre-order? That was a super awesome program for Prime members that saved me, personally, a whole lot of money, and I know a whole lot of gamers a whole lot of cash. They ended it in August, and a lot of people wondered why. Since then, it's been replaced with a $10 credit on select titles, but no longer is it the ocean-wide program that they had before that put pre-ordered games at a $48 price. We now have learned from Michael Pachter, who some of you may know as, I would say, one of the, if not the most well-known video game analysts for quite some time now. He has given some rumors, some scuttlebutt on how this program was effectively canned.
Yeah, Michael Pachter was honestly one of my favorite video personalities, even though that's not his main job. His main job is an actual industry analyst. But, back when game trailers was still a thing in its heyday, some would say, Michael Pachter had his Pack Attack show, and I actually enjoyed watching that quite a bit. So, and he's doing something similar now that I didn't even know about until you told me, Zach. But yeah, some good information here. Let's get into it.
I love his voice. He's got a very nice, soothing voice. Anyhow, how does this tie into Nintendo? Well, you guys might remember that Nintendo games were absent from Amazon for some time. It was a little weird, you couldn't find stock of Nintendo stuff on the biggest online retailer. Michael Pachter is saying that Nintendo actually was leading the charge of pushback against this program. There is a minimum advertised price that publishers want retailers to hit, but Amazon was getting sort of sneaky or smart and working around the word advertised, because the game was advertised at the full $59.99 value, and you wouldn't see that 20% off discount until you checked out. So they were kind of just working through a loophole in the system. Nintendo didn't like it, and because of that, Nintendo restricted very aggressively the stock that Amazon got, and that's why you were seeing them not acquire certain Switch titles and certain Nintendo titles, sometimes up to 2 weeks after the real release date and real launch of said game. And apparently after Nintendo started pushing back, other publishers did as well, but they were the ones that kind of led the charge against removing this program.
Yeah, a discount that steep, going from $60 to $48, that had to have cut into the bottom line a little bit for a lot of these publishers. And yeah, Nintendo wasn't going to like that. They don't discount their games whatsoever, ever, for the most part.
Yeah, for their evergreen, they're big ones. They're Mario Odysseys and their Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, they stay 60 for as long as humanly possible. So, having them go up at a much discounted price for the first few weeks of release, yeah, I can see why Nintendo wouldn't like that. I just didn't know that they were the ones that caused this.
Well, a lot of these programs have actually just gone away. Best Buy announced earlier in 2018 that their Gamers Club Unlocked would be gone as well, that they'd be canning that gave discounts on pre-orders. So this must have been a across-the-board pushback after the Amazon Nintendo ordeal, and now you as a gamer unfortunately lose out on two of the best programs, or whatever you want to call them. I use both of them, but I think something else that factors into this here is just how effective these programs are and how widely used these programs are. Obviously, they were effective enough for Nintendo and other publishers to be irked by them, but as we move to more of a digital present instead of a digital future, and as the Switch, the eShop, and preloading games is becoming more and more prevalent, I was not using Amazon pre-orders or any pre-orders really in the same way as of late, and so this loss, while a bummer, and you can't really spin it positive in any frame or way, I think because of how much emphasis there is now on buying things digitally and having things on your console always, it's less of a blow to me personally.
Yeah, I am going to be honest. I never used it once. We're blessed. We get review code, things like that, and I prefer things digital anyway. So when we don't get review code, I have no problem just buying the game myself.
Right.
So yeah, and I want my stuff digital because I hate changing out cartridges. I hate getting my cartridges stolen, so then I no longer have them. What's up, LA? How you doing? So yeah. I never use these things. I know that they're super good deal for gamers, and I'm bummed that they're gone just because I know a lot of people were able to play games that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to play if it wasn't for these discounts. But yeah, I think something had to give at some point. So, something that was a deal that good wasn't going to last forever.
Yeah, it really was a great deal, and if I was smarter and more patient, I probably would have taken more advantage of it. But being someone who wants things digitally or wants things at midnight, you did have to wait until it delivered. Amazon has release date delivery on a lot of their pre-order games still, and that alone is a great little added feature. But this one really did make it kind of to me, it was the only place to buy a game. The Best Buy program, Gamers Club Unlocked, was pretty solid as well. I used that a couple of times. But in general, as you mentioned, I'd say, like, despite my desire to have a really big and really awesome collection on display, I am leaning 90-10 digital as of late. And I can only see that continuing and probably eventually becoming a 100% shift for me, which is kind of shocking to say, but it's just so much better and so much more convenient, I think.
Yeah, the convenience of digital, I mean, that's a big conversation. I don't care to get in here. I know people really still like the physical versions. People are collectors, and that's totally fine. That's 100% within your right. Just for me, I don't want all these boxes. I don't want to have to, like, change cartridges. I'd rather just have them all there at all times.
Yeah, definitely let us know in the comments how you feel about digital versus physical. If you use this Amazon program, if you were bummed to see it go over the summer, and if you do see yourself going more digital as we progress through, and as you're coming up on Black Friday, you can get a big Switch memory card for pretty cheap. There will be good deals on those 128 gig cards and possibly even the 256 cards as well. I've seen recently a 400 gig card that would hold a ton of games. But even on a smaller card, deleting and downloading new stuff seems to be okay. You can always re-download if you want. I'm constantly juggling on my PlayStation 4, on my Switch, balancing, being nearly full. Heck, even on my PC, it's a problem for me. I'm always in that conversation of, Mr. Computer, what should I delete next? Mr. Switch, what should I delete next? Mrs. PlayStation, what should I delete next? And it doesn't bother me like it used to. Maybe I've just got acclimated. But it's interesting that Nintendo was at the center of all of this, and it doesn't surprise me because they do, in spite of a lot of their forward-moving efforts they made with Switch, still maintain a lot of that tried and true traditional behavior and traditional view of the video game space. And so getting burned on $12 out of every title, it's very, like, they would have been my first guess to get upset, and it does help explain why for a while Amazon had nada when it came to Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how much of that came out of Amazon's cut of the sale, things like that. We're not privy to that information. We have no idea. But I'm sure some of those $12 had to have come out of Amazon's cut. I don't think that it was just all Nintendo that had to swallow that.
Yeah, no, I don't know the exact breakdown, but regardless, because it was being done in, like I said, sort of a, maybe sneaky is too forward of a word, but in sort of a working the system kind of way of getting around that advertised price and still saying it's 60, but then discounting down to 48. I think that's where the frustration came in, and now I would think we'll be good to go in the future for Nintendo stuff on Amazon, which is good because it is a great way to grab those limited edition consoles that I have been wanting to collect. It's a great way to get games, and I also like getting my eShop cards from Amazon as well. Gabe, with the return of Nintendo products at a normal flow on Amazon, and with stuff like Black Friday coming soon and Amazon being very, very good at price matching all the best deals, even at full price, do you see yourself using a little bit of physicality later on in the year?
Yeah, absolutely. First, it's just good that all these products are back on Amazon. I remember the time that you're talking about where, Nintendo stuff was a little scarce on.
It was so weird. I had no clue why. It's so good to get some details on why.
Yeah, I remember us even having the conversation, just like, hey, why isn't this stuff here? And having an answer, it's good, right? And I prefer having all the stuff on Amazon. It's full price, but it's the regular price. Games are cheaper than they've ever been, and I know that's an unpopular opinion, but we get so many hours of enjoyment out of these things that paying the full price and having everything on Amazon as well as every other retailer, the convenience of Amazon can never be overstated or understated. So, yes, I'm very happy that the products are all back, and they have been for some time, but at least one of these gaming mysteries is kind of solved, thanks to Michael Packer.
I love when we get stuff like that, and it's usually well off in the future. This one not too far in the future. That program officially ended on August 28th, so you're sitting about 2.5 months later. But it's good to know. I want to know from all of you in the comments how you feel about this and how often you were using that Amazon discount, and if since then it's changed things up. And specifically for Switch, are you more as we move closer and closer? Are you excited to get like a big memory card and move towards that digital only Switch? I think it's super great for the Switch specifically. I like the tiny cards. My case can support holding 5 or 6 of them, but it's like so great just to have like, hey, Pokemon, it's on your Switch. Hey, Smash Bros. There's just certain games that like I never want to not have with me, and Amazon, with or without this discount, this program, they can't really compete with that. And I guess that makes Nintendo and all publishers happy, because then you're going straight to the source, and that ultimately lines their pockets just a little bit more. Let us know your take in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from the Switch and cool nuggets like this one. Thank you, Michael Pachter, for being so smart. For now, though, for myself and Gabe, have a fantastic day. Follow us on Twitter and Discord, links in the description below. And until next time, SwitchForce out.